Just discovered my parents gave my college fund to my brother. I paid my own way through school while they told me there was no money. I'm destroyed. Throwaway account because my family is on Reddit and I honestly can't handle them finding this right now. I'm literally shaking while typing this. I need to get this out because I feel like I'm losing my mind. My entire understanding of my family just imploded and I don't know what to do. Background. I'm 28F. My brother, Kyle, is 31M. We grew up solidly middle class. Dad's an engineer. Mom worked part-time as a teacher. Nothing fancy but comfortable. My parents always talked about how important education was, how they'd support us, the usual parent stuff. When I was applying to colleges, 2014, I was so excited. I had good grades, got into my state school and a few private universities. My dream school offered me partial scholarship, but I'd still need about $15,000 per year in loans, family contribution. I remember sitting at the kitchen table with my parents going over financial aid packages. That's when they told me, "We're so sorry, honey, but there's just no college fund. We wish we could help, but money's been tight. You'll need to figure out loans and maybe community college first." I was devastated, but I understood. Or I thought I did. Dad had been laid off briefly a few years before. Mom's teaching salary wasn't much. They seemed genuinely apologetic. So I did what I had to do. I went to community college for 2 years, worked 30 hours a week at Target, lived at home, then transferred to state school. I took out $45,000 in loans total, worked through all 4 years, graduated at 24 instead of 22. It was hard. I watched friends have the normal college experience while I commuted and missed social events to work closing shifts. But I did it. I was proud. My parents were proud. Kyle, who had graduated a few years before me, seemed proud. I thought we were all just a normal family doing our best. Here's where it gets bad. Last week, my brother Kyle got drunk at my apartment. Like really drunk. His wife just had their second kid and he was celebrating, getting a night out. He started getting emotional and weepy, talking about how stressed he is about money, how expensive kids are, how he wishes he'd made different choices. Then he said, "At least I don't have your student loans. Thank God Mom and Dad paid for my school. That was the one thing they did right." I laughed it off. "What? They didn't pay for your school? There was no money, remember? That's why I had to do it the hard way." He looked at me confused through his drunk haze. "What are you talking about? They paid my tuition. All 4 years at private university. Like $35,000 per year. I thought you knew that." I felt my stomach drop. "Kyle, they told me there was no college fund. I went to community college. I have $45,000 in debt." He went pale. Even drunk, he could see this was bad. He started backtracking immediately. "Wait, maybe I'm remembering wrong. Maybe Grandma helped? I don't know, I was 18, I wasn't paying attention to where the money came from." But I could see it in his eyes. He knew. He'd known this whole time. I spent the weekend going through everything I could find. I asked my roommate from community college if she remembered me talking about my parents not having money. She confirmed I'd told her that story back in 2014. I looked through old emails and found one from my mom from August 2014 saying, "We wish we could help more, but we just don't have college savings to give you." I also called my aunt, Dad's sister, with some excuse about family history, and casually asked if she remembered Kyle's college years. She said, "Oh yes, your parents were so proud they could send him to private university. It was expensive, but they'd been saving. They'd been saving." I haven't confronted them yet. I've been sick to my stomach for 5 days. I can't eat. I can't sleep. Every memory of my 18 to 22-year-old self, exhausted, stressed, missing out, feeling guilty for being a financial burden, is now reframed. My brother went to his dream school, lived in dorms, joined a fraternity, had the full experience. He graduated debt-free. I was never given that option. I was lied to. For 10 years. Why? Was I not worth it? Did they not believe in me? Did they just love him more? I keep trying to think of explanations that aren't devastating and I can't find any. My fiancé, Derek, 29M, is furious on my behalf. He wants me to confront them immediately. My best friend says I should get evidence first, maybe talk to other family members. I'm supposed to have dinner at my parents' house this Thursday like nothing happened. I don't know if I can sit across from them and pretend everything's fine. But I also don't know if I'm ready for the confrontation that will blow up my entire family. Reddit, what do I do? How do I even start this conversation? Am I overreacting? Is there some explanation I'm missing? I feel so stupid and used and heartbroken. Update. I confronted my parents about the college fund. It was so much worse than I thought. Holy shit. I didn't expect to update this fast, but everything exploded yesterday and I'm still processing. First, thank you to everyone who responded. To those who said I should get evidence first, you were right. To those who said my parents would gaslight me, you were so right. After my last post, I did some digging. I called my dad's brother, Uncle Jim, and asked him casually about Kyle's college graduation. He mentioned that fancy school your parents paid for, and confirmed they'd talked about the expense at the time. I also found my parents' old Christmas cards from 2011 to 2014 in a box in their garage. I still had a key. The 2013 one had a brag about Kyle's junior year at private university. So proud of our college man. I also texted Kyle. We need to talk. When did you find out I didn't get college money? He left me on read for 2 days, then finally responded. I honestly didn't think about it. I'm sorry. Can we not make this a big thing? Can we not make this a big thing? So Tuesday night, I went to my parents' house. Derek came with me for support and witness purposes. Mom had made pot roast, my favorite, which now feels like such a sick joke. I didn't ease into it. I just asked, did you pay for Kyle's college? The silence was deafening. Dad's fork literally froze halfway to his mouth. Mom's face went white. Then Dad said, where is this coming from? Kyle told me, when he was drunk, that you paid his full tuition at private university. 4 years, while you told me there was no money for college. Mom started crying immediately. Not like sad crying, like panicked, caught crying. It's not that simple, she said. Then make it simple, I said. Did you or did you not pay for Kyle's school? Dad finally nodded. We paid for Kyle's education, yes. I felt like I was going to throw up. Hearing it confirmed was different than suspecting it. Why? This is where it got so much worse. Dad explained that when Kyle was applying to colleges, my grandmother, Dad's mom, had given them $140,000 specifically for grandchildren's education. She passed away in 2009, when I was 13 and Kyle was 16. The money was intended for both of us. They spent $130,000 on Kyle's 4 years at private school. When I asked what happened to the rest, what happened to my half, Mom said, we thought we'd have more time to save for you. Kyle needed it right away. We thought by the time you graduated high school we'd have built it back up. But you didn't. The recession hit. Dad's layoff. We had to use some for the mortgage. Things were tight. I just stared at them. So you spent my inheritance on Kyle, then you lied to me and let me think there had never been any money at all? For 10 years? Derek put his hand on my shoulder because I was shaking. Here's the part that made me want to scream. Dad said, we didn't lie. We just didn't give you all the details. You were doing fine. You got through school. You're successful. This proves you didn't even need the money. I lost it. I started yelling. I needed it. I worked 30 hours a week while taking classes. I graduated 2 years late. I have $45,000 in debt that I'll be paying until I'm 40. I missed out on internships and study abroad and a normal college experience because I was exhausted all the time. Mom kept crying. We thought we were doing what was best. Kyle needed structure. You were always so independent and capable. Independent? I was 18. I was a child. You were supposed to be my parents. Then Dad dropped another bomb. Look, if you want to be upset about Grandma's money, fine. But that was technically my inheritance, not yours. We weren't obligated to give you anything. I actually laughed. It was so absurd. You took money that Grandma designated for her grandchildren's education, plural, spent it all on one grandchild, then told the other grandchild there was no money. And you think that's okay because technically it passed through your bank account first? Derek finally spoke up. This is financial abuse. You understand that, right? My dad stood up. I think you both should leave. As we were leaving, I turned back. Did Kyle know? When we were 18 and I was talking about how stressed I was about money, did he know he'd gotten Grandma's money? The look on Mom's face told me everything. He knew, I whispered. You all knew. Mom tried to reach for me but I backed away. Please sweetie, don't do this to the family. We made a mistake but we can work through this. I left. I haven't answered their calls since. That was 2 days ago. Yesterday, Kyle texted me. Mom's really upset. This is getting out of hand. Can't we all just move past this? I blocked him. Then my dad's sister, Aunt Carol, called. Apparently Mom had called her crying, spinning some story about me, attacking them over ancient history. Aunt Carol tried the whole family is forever speech until I told her the real story. She went quiet, then said, "Oh honey. I'm so sorry. That's not right. The thing is, I keep thinking about all the times my parents praised me for being so independent and handling things so well. I thought they were proud of me. Now I realize it was just convenient for them that I didn't ask questions. I'm meeting with a lawyer consultation tomorrow, not to sue, I don't think I can, but just to understand if there's anything about Grandma's gift that matters legally. I'm also starting therapy next week because this has broken something in me." Derek has been amazing. He's furious. He asked me yesterday, what happens when we have kids? Are they going to play favorites with our children too? And I realized I don't know. I can't trust them anymore. My future in-laws have offered to cover the cost of the wedding we'd planned because Derek and I had been accepting some help from my parents. We're taking them up on it and uninviting my parents. I don't know where this goes from here. I can't see a path to forgiveness right now. Every time I think about my 19-year-old self, exhausted from a double shift, studying in a Target break room, I want to cry. They stole my college experience from me. And they did again if it meant not having to admit they were wrong. Update 2. My family found the post. Everything is blowing up. I found out there's more money involved. So, this got nuclear. Apparently someone recognized details from my story and sent it to Kyle's wife, Emma. Emma showed Kyle. Kyle showed my parents. My mom called me sobbing 2 weeks ago saying I'd publicly humiliated the family and aired private business. I told her if she was embarrassed maybe she shouldn't have done embarrassing things. But that's not even the biggest development. Buckle up because this gets insane. After my last update, several family members reached out privately. My dad's brother, Uncle Jim, asked to meet for coffee. I almost said no but Derek convinced me that I needed allies and information. Uncle Jim told me something I didn't know. When my grandmother died in 2009, she didn't just leave money for education. She left a trust. $300,000 total, split into 3 purposes. Minus $140,000 for grandchildren's education, split equally between Kyle and me. Minus $100,000 for her children, split between my dad and Uncle Jim. Minus $60,000 for future needs of grandchildren, to be held until both were 25. Uncle Jim is the executor. He showed me paperwork. My dad received his $50,000 inheritance in 2009. Uncle Jim received his $50,000. The education fund was supposed to be $70,000 for Kyle and $70,000 for me. The future needs fund should have paid out $30,000 to each of us when we turned 25. I turned 25 in 2021. I never received anything. Uncle Jim looked devastated telling me this. He said, "Your father handled the education fund portions because I lived out of state. He was supposed to set up separate accounts. I trusted him. I just found out last year that he'd never split it properly. My dad took the entire $140,000 education fund and spent $130,000 on Kyle. Then when I turned 25, he told Uncle Jim that I had declined my portion to help with family expenses, and asked Uncle Jim to roll my $30,000 into Kyle's account for his new baby. Uncle Jim believed him, until Kyle's wife Emma, who's apparently not a fan of my parents, mentioned something that didn't add up. Uncle Jim started asking questions. But he didn't reach out to me because he assumed I actually had declined the money and didn't want to embarrass me. When he saw the Reddit post, everything clicked. So to summarize, I was owed $70,000 for education, used entirely on Kyle, and $30,000 at age 25, given to Kyle. My brother has received $160,000 of the $170,000 that was meant for both of us. I sat in that coffee shop and ugly cried in front of my uncle for 20 minutes. Uncle Jim is furious. He's threatening to remove my dad as trustee and pursue legal action for mismanagement. He's offered to give me $30,000 from his own pocket immediately and says we can go after my dad for the education fund money. I'm retaining an actual lawyer now. Not a consultation, a real estate and trust attorney who thinks I have a case. But here's where the family dynamics get messy. My mom's parents are still alive. When this all came out, my maternal grandmother called and asked why I was causing trouble. Apparently my mom told her I was trying to steal from Kyle's children and being greedy. My mom has completely rewritten history. My maternal grandfather, however, is a retired accountant. He asked for details. When I sent him Uncle Jim's documentation, he called back an hour later and said, "Your mother and I need to talk. This is embezzlement." Then he hung up. I love Grandpa Tom. Kyle's wife Emma reached out. We met for lunch yesterday. She's pregnant with their third child and she looked exhausted. She told me, "I need you to know I didn't know. Kyle told me your parents helped him with school, but he said they helped you too. When I found out the truth from your Reddit post, we had a massive fight. He kept saying it wasn't his fault, that he was just a kid when it happened." I asked her why she was telling me this. "Because he's been receiving $1,500 a month from your parents for the last 4 years. They told me it was from his inheritance being invested. I believed them because I didn't know better. But it's not an investment, is it? It's what should have been your money." I almost threw up in the restaurant. Emma continued, "I'm done with them. I'm done with him making excuses. We have 3 kids and he's been letting your parents buy our silence. I want you to know that if you sue them, I'll testify. I have bank statements." She's moving out, taking the kids to her parents' house. She told Kyle she's not raising children around people who think this kind of favoritism is acceptable. My brother called me last night drunk, again. Apparently that's his thing now. He was crying. "You're destroying everything." Emma took the kids. "Mom won't stop crying. Dad won't talk to me. This is all your fault." I told him, "You had 9 years to tell me the truth. You had $160,000 of my inheritance. You get $1,500 a month that should be in my pocket. I have student loans I'm still paying. And you think I'm the problem?" He hung up on me. My parents sent a group text to the entire extended family. As many of you have heard, there's been a misunderstanding about family finances. We love both our children equally and are heartbroken that my name has chosen to believe we deliberately hurt her. We're seeking family counseling and hope she'll join us when she's ready to heal this rift. A misunderstanding. Aunt Carol, Dad's sister, responded to the group text. A misunderstanding is forgetting someone's birthday. This is theft. You should be ashamed. Then she left the group chat. My cousin, Carol's daughter, posted on Facebook. Really interesting when family members steal from children and then act like victims when they get caught. Upside down face. My mom saw it and called her crying. Half the family has reached out to me privately with support. The other half thinks I'm tearing the family apart over money. My wedding is in 4 months. My parents are uninvited. Kyle is uninvited. I'm having Grandpa Tom walk me down the aisle instead of my dad. Mom sent a 5-page letter to Derek's parents begging them to talk sense into me. Derek's mom read 2 pages and threw it away, then called me and said, "Sweetheart, you're better off without them." I'm in therapy twice a week now. My therapist keeps using the word scapegoat and explaining golden child dynamics. It's helping, but it's also painful to realize the patterns were always there and I just didn't see them. The lawyer thinks I can recover at least $100,000 between the trust mismanagement and the fact that my dad signed documents claiming I'd received funds I never got. Uncle Jim's cooperation is making this possible. But honestly, the money isn't even the point anymore. It's that they lied. For a decade. And they'd still be lying if Kyle hadn't gotten drunk and slipped up. I don't know if I'll ever speak to them again. Update 3. The legal process is moving forward. My family is fracturing in unexpected ways. I'm actually doing okay. It's been a month and a half since my last update, and honestly, I wasn't sure I'd post again. But people have been DMing me asking for closure, and there have been some significant developments. First, the legal stuff. My attorney sent a formal demand letter to my parents 3 weeks ago. The letter outlined the trust mismanagement, the forged documents. Yes, my dad apparently signed paperwork saying I'd received funds, and requested return of $100,000 plus interest. My parents responded through their attorney. They lawyered up immediately, with an offer of $15,000, as a gesture of goodwill to preserve family harmony, and a non-admission of wrongdoing. My attorney laughed. We rejected it. We're now in formal mediation scheduled for next month, and if that fails, we're filing a lawsuit. Uncle Jim has been deposed, and his testimony is apparently very damaging to my dad's case. The thing is, I've realized my dad probably doesn't even have $100,000 to give me. Know where the money went? Kyle's house down payment, $60,000, Kyle's car, $25,000, and those monthly payments to Kyle, $72,000 over 4 years. The rest went to their own expenses during Dad's unemployment. Kyle's wife Emma has been true to her word. She provided bank statements showing all the payments from my parents to their joint account. She's also filed for divorce. She told me last week, I married a man I thought was a good person. Turns out he's been complicit in stealing from his little sister for years and felt entitled to it. I can't respect that. She's letting me see my niece and nephew, and she sends baby pictures of the new baby. We've actually become friends through this nightmare. She apologized profusely for benefiting from money that should have been mine. I told her it wasn't her fault, she didn't know. Kyle, meanwhile, has had a breakdown. He's living in my parents' basement. Emma took the kids and her name is on their house. It was her credit score that qualified them, so he had nowhere else to go. My mom reports that he's depressed, and can't understand why everyone is punishing him for things that happened when he was a kid. He was 20 years old when I started community college. He knew. Here's an unexpected development. My maternal grandparents, mom's parents, have completely split on this issue. Grandma Jean is still team family forgives, and keeps calling me asking to let it go. But Grandpa Tom has gone nuclear on my parents. He did his own digging, retired accountant powers activate, and discovered that my parents took out a HELOC on their house in 2019. He thinks they knew I'd be turning 25 soon and would ask about trust money, so they extracted equity to repay me if needed, but then spent that money too. Grandpa Tom called my mom, his daughter, and told her, I didn't raise you to be a thief and a liar. You're not the daughter I thought you were. Then he wrote me a check for $25,000 as an early inheritance because I want to see you benefit from it. I cried for an hour. I tried to refuse it, but he insisted, your grandmother and I always planned to leave you something. Consider this in advance. You've been through enough. My grandmother is barely speaking to him over it. Their marriage is strained. I feel terrible about that. The extended family situation is messy. About 60% are on my side. 30% think I should just forgive and move on, and 10% have completely cut contact with everyone because they're tired of the drama. Aunt Carol, Dad's sister, has been my champion. She's gone no contact with my dad, her brother, and is testifying on my behalf if this goes to court. She told me, I watched your dad treat you differently growing up and I didn't say anything. I regret that. I'm saying something now. My cousin, her daughter, has started asking questions about her own college fund situation. Turns out Aunt Carol paid for all of it equally between her 3 kids. My cousin said, it never occurred to me that parents would do it differently. My mom tried to show up at my apartment 2 weeks ago. Building security called me before letting her up. I said no. She waited in the lobby for 3 hours with a gift basket and a letter. Security eventually escorted her out. I read the letter later. It was 6 pages of, we did our best. You don't understand how hard those years were. Kyle needed more support because he struggled more. You were always so capable, we didn't worry about you. Families should forgive. Think about our grandchildren. Nothing about, I'm sorry. Nothing about, we were wrong. Just justifications and manipulation. I threw it away. My dad hasn't reached out at all except through his lawyer. I think part of him genuinely believes he did nothing wrong because the money passed through him first. His entitlement is breathtaking. Now here's the part that's actually given me hope. My wedding is in 6 weeks. We're having it at Derek's family's lake house. It's going to be small, about 50 people. Derek's family has been incredible. His mom has basically adopted me. She helped me pick my dress. His dad keeps making terrible jokes to make me laugh. His sister is my maid of honor. Grandpa Tom is walking me down the aisle. Emma and the kids are coming. She and I have become genuinely close. Several of my friends from college, the ones who remember me working those double shifts, have reached out to offer support. Some have even offered to contribute to my legal fund. I'm still in therapy. My therapist has helped me understand that what happened wasn't about my worth. It was about my parents' character. That they spent their integrity, not my future. That I survived their selfishness and built a good life anyway. The student loans still hurt. I'm still angry when I think about 19-year-old me studying in that Target break room. But I'm also proud of her. She got through it. She built a career. I'm a project manager now, making good money. She found a partner who values her. She's about to start a family that will treat kids equally. I don't know if I'll ever reconcile with my parents. Right now I can't imagine it. My mom keeps sending flying monkeys, church friends, distant relatives, to tell me that forgiveness is divine, and they're getting older, don't have regrets. But forgiveness doesn't mean pretending it didn't happen. It doesn't mean giving them access to hurt me again. And it definitely doesn't mean dropping the lawsuit. The money matters. Not because I'm greedy, but because there needs to be consequences. They need to understand that what they did was wrong. And honestly, I've earned that money 3 times over. Once when grandma left it to me. Once when I worked my ass off through school anyway. And once more by surviving the emotional betrayal of learning the truth. Derek and I are planning to start trying for kids next year. I've already decided, if we have multiple children, every single one will get exactly the same opportunities. Same college fund contributions, same support, same love and attention. I will never, ever make a child feel like they're worth less than their sibling. I'm going to break the cycle my parents started. Final update. I'm married, the lawsuit settled, and I've found peace. But not in the way you'd expect. I wasn't planning to post again, but I've gotten so many messages asking for closure. I'm also hoping this helps someone else going through something similar. The wedding happened. It was perfect. Grandpa Tom walked me down the aisle and kept making jokes to keep me from crying. Derek's vows made everyone sob. Emma brought my niece and nephew and they were adorable flower girl and ring bearer. My chosen family showed up and celebrated us. My parents did not attempt to crash it, thank God. Though my mom did send a flower arrangement to the venue the morning of with a card that said, "We love you and hope you'll make room for us again someday." Congratulations, Mom and Dad. I had the florist donate the arrangement to a nursing home. The legal situation resolved faster than expected. We went to mediation in late September. My parents came with their attorney. It was the first time I'd seen them in 4 months. My mom looked like she'd aged a decade. My dad looked angry. Neither of them would make eye contact with me. The mediator went through the documentation. Uncle Jim's testimony. Emma's bank statements. The trust documents showing my dad's signatures claiming I'd received funds I never got. The case was pretty airtight. My parents' attorney convinced them to settle. Final amount. $85,000 plus they have to cover my legal fees, $8,000. They're paying it out over 18 months, $4,700 per month, because they don't have it in liquid assets. They had to take out a loan against their retirement accounts. Kyle contributed $0. He claims he doesn't have it. He's working as a sales associate at Best Buy now after losing his job in tech. He's paying child support and living in their basement. I accepted the settlement. My attorney said we could probably get the full $100,000 if we went to trial, but it would take 18+ months and cost more in legal fees. I wanted it over. Here's the thing nobody tells you about getting justice. It doesn't feel the way you expect. I won. I got most of my money back. My parents faced consequences. I should feel triumphant. Instead, I mostly feel tired and sad. I'm sad that my parents chose money and pride over me. I'm sad that my brother is such a coward. I'm sad that my grandmother's gift, something meant to launch us into adulthood with love and support, became a weapon that destroyed our family. But I'm also okay. Really, genuinely okay. My life is good. Derek and I are happy. We bought a condo with my settlement money, used it for the down payment. I got a promotion at work. I'm still in therapy and it's helping. I have friends and chosen family who love me. My parents sent a letter after the settlement. My dad wrote that he still believes he did what he thought was right at the time, but regrets that it caused such a rift. My mom wrote that she misses me and hopes time will heal things. There was no real apology. No accountability. Just justification and sadness that I'm not playing along anymore. I haven't responded. I don't plan to. Some updates on everyone else. Emma and Kyle. **** divorce is proceeding. Emma has primary custody. She's thriving, got a promotion at her company, seems genuinely happier. The kids are adjusting. Kyle sees them on weekends and according to Emma, spends the whole time complaining about how unfair his life is. Emma and I text regularly. She's been a real friend. Uncle Jim. He's fully estranged from my dad now. He sends me birthday cards. He's talking to an attorney about his own claims against my dad for mismanagement since he was executor and trusted my dad. I told him I'd testify if needed. Aunt Carol. Still my champion. She's taken me shopping for the condo, given marriage advice, been the aunt I always deserved. I'm so grateful for her. Grandpa Tom. Still a legend. He and Grandma Jean are in marriage counseling over their disagreement about this situation. He doesn't regret supporting me. He told me last week, doing the right thing isn't always comfortable, kiddo. But it's always right. My parents. They're struggling financially with the settlement payments. They've had to downsize their lifestyle. Some of their friends have distanced themselves after hearing the real story. My dad's brother, Uncle Jim, won't speak to them. My mom's father, Grandpa Tom, barely speaks to them. They're isolated and apparently miserable. I don't feel good about that. But I also don't feel responsible for it. Me. I'm genuinely happy. The settlement money helped, yes. But more than that, I've built a life that isn't weighed down by obligation to people who hurt me. I've surrounded myself with people who show up for me. I'm planning a future with a man who thinks my parents' behavior is unconscionable and who promises our kids will never feel what I felt. I thought healing would mean my parents apologizing and us reconciling. But healing actually meant accepting that they're not capable of being the parents I needed, grieving the family I thought I had, and building something better. Some people have asked if I'll ever reconcile with them. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe in a decade if they can actually take accountability. Maybe never. Right now I'm not no contact out of spite. I'm no contact out of self-preservation. They send cards on holidays. I don't open them. Derek's mom puts together a care package every month with baked goods and magazines and a note that says, "Thinking of you." That's what family looks like. I'm also setting boundaries for the future. When Derek and I have kids, my parents will not have access unless they can demonstrate sustained change and accountability. No, but family exceptions. No rug-swept access to grandchildren. My kids will not be taught that it's okay to accept mistreatment from family. To anyone reading this who's going through something similar, you're not crazy. You're not overreacting. If your family treated you differently, favored a sibling, lied to you about resources or support, that's real and it matters. You don't owe them forgiveness to make them comfortable. It's been almost a year since Kyle drunkenly told me the truth. In that time I've learned the full extent of the betrayal. Gotten justice through the legal system. Lost my nuclear family. Gained chosen family. Gotten married. Bought a home. Started building the life I want. Was it worth it? The lawsuit, the confrontation, the family implosion? Yes. 1,000 times yes. Because the alternative was living the rest of my life believing their lies. Making my peace with being the less valued child. Watching them spoil Kyle's kids while I paid down loans for a college experience I only got scraps of. Letting them meet my future children while pretending they didn't steal from me. I deserve better than that. You deserve better than that. I'm not sure I'll update again. This feels like closure. I'm not waiting for my parents to change anymore. I'm just living my life, making it good, breaking the cycles they started. To everyone who commented, sent support, shared their own stories, thank you. This community helped me see I wasn't alone and I wasn't crazy. You helped me find my voice and set boundaries. I'm